Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever parts of the world you're watching me from. I'm so excited to have you on board. My name is Kate Edwards, and I welcome you to our addiction recovery workshop, a proven and safest way to overcoming any form of addiction. I'm so excited that you're here because I know that if you have been struggling with addiction, no matter how long, and that you sign up for this course, it's a sign that God is about to help you out. I know it because I'll be the one to be taking you on this journey alongside with other amazing coaches who are going to be teaching you from our experiences how to overcome addiction. So I'm so grateful that you're here, and I'm happy to have you. Once again, welcome on board. If you are here, that's because you have watched our introductory video and you have done all your registration, and of course I want to believe that you have also seen the daily affirmation video that is just before this one. All right, our daily affirmation is a huge part of your recovering process because there is power in spoken words. Okay, when you say something to yourself over and over again, it eventually becomes your reality. So there is power in spoken words. I want you to always recite our affirmation. I'm going to also attach it as a PDF to this whole course. You can print it out, paste it somewhere in your room, recite it every day. Recite it every day, and your life will never remain the same. Once again, welcome on board. So welcome now to module 1, lesson 1. In module 1, we are going to be looking at literatures and background, and the literatures and background now is about the addiction itself. Everything you need to know about addiction. What is addiction? What are the types of addiction? What are the forms of addiction? What are the causes of addiction? How has addiction affects the world? We are going to learn all of that in this module 1. It may not really be like something you really want, because some of us are just saying, oh, what can I do so that I'll be free? Yeah, it's good, but knowledge is also very powerful and important, because when you know something, when you know so much about something, a solution is offered to you, you will know exactly where to apply it. That's why we are looking at literatures and backgrounds of addiction. So module 1, lesson 1 says addiction demystified. So let's get right into it. What is addiction? Addiction is an urge to do something that is hard to control. The inability to stop using a substance or engaging in a behavior, though it's causing psychological and physical harm. The inability to stop using a substance or engaging in a behavior, even though it's causing psychological and physical harm. Now, you are addicted to something. It's when you don't have control over it anymore. There's this compelling power that tells you to do this thing, even though you know this thing is harmful to your health. Most of the people who are addicted or who struggle with addictions today, they not start off being addicted. They start off voluntarily. You may just walk into the classroom as a teenager, and you see your colleagues or your mates or your classmates viewing something in their phones, and you go over and it's a pornographic video. You just saw it with them and they did not really do anything to you. Most of the time it's even irritating, and then after some time you feel like relaxing in your home alone, and then because you have access to internet, you log in and start viewing a pornographic video. Then you continue doing this to the extent that there is this thing that grabs your mind, this compelling power to continue doing it, and that gets to a point where you don't want to do it, but you find yourself you find something pushing you to do it. That's when you know it's an addiction. All right, that's when you know it's an addiction. You just go out with your friends and they're trying a substance, they're sniffing something. You say, let me also sniff just to get high, and then you do it. Tomorrow you just see this thing that is compelling you to go do it. That's when you know it's addicted. You no longer have control over it. You know it's harmful to your health. You know it's affecting your social health. You know it's affecting your relationships. You know it's affecting your focus. It's affecting your productivity. Yet you can't stop. That is when you know you are addicted. What are the types of addiction? We have basically three types of addiction. But for the sake of this workshop, we are going to be dealing with 2. All right. So we have the substance addiction. What is substance addiction? It's simply involvement in using a substance. You are involved in using a substance, and then you are addicted to it. Most times hard drugs. Yeah, some of these drugs are prescribed drugs. Some of these drugs are drugs that they prescribe for me from the hospital. Sometimes sleeping pills, sometimes cough syrup. I know people who buy cough syrup, then they take overdose of it just to get high. Sometimes it's sleeping pills. You get addicted. You feel like, okay, without taking this pill, I cannot sleep. And there are other substances like cocaine, marijuana, tobacco, alcohol, cannabis. Like there are a lot of them. People get addicted to these substances. And then the second type of addiction is behavioral addiction. This refers to addiction that involve compulsive behavior you carry out even knowing that it's harmful to you. All right, so such behaviors, we have sex, we have masturbation, we have pornography, we have social media or internet addiction, we have gambling, we have food addiction, we have shopping addiction, we have plastic surgery, video game, and all of that, they fall under behavioral addiction. How many people are addicted in the world? How has addiction affects the world? How many people has addiction worldwide? About 270 million people, according to WHO. That's 55% of the global population aged 15 to 64 are addicted to something. Then we have about 4.4% of men and 1.2% of women addicted to pornography. Then we have about 35% of the general world population addicted to the internet. Then church statistic, we have studies have shown that 1 out of 2 people sitting in the church pews are addicted to something. That's like 50% of the church population, most especially pornography. 75% of adults in the world masturbate. 73.8% of male and 48.1% of female masturbate worldwide. Then almost half of this population are teenagers. We have about 4.55 billion active social media users, and we have about 330 million who are addicted to social media. And just for our information, it is said that TikTok is the most addictive social media platform. All right, so that's how much addiction has affected the world. Now, what are the causes of addiction? You know, we have talked about behavioral addiction and we have talked about substance addiction. We are going to focus on behavioral addiction in the first part of this course, and later we are going to deal with substance addiction. Someone who has experience in substance addiction is going to break it down for us. So we are going to start off with behavioral addiction. So what are the causes of some behavioral addiction? We're not going to look at all the behavioral addictions also in this workshop because there are so many. We're going to look at the ones we know are affecting our day-to-day life, affecting our productivity, affecting our focus, affecting our social life, affecting our relationships and marriages. This is the one we are looking, those are the ones we are looking at. But I know that is the one you want to be free from. There's no point just giving you info that you may necessarily not need. What are the causes of sexual addiction? Number 1 is early exposure to sex. Yes, early exposure to sex is number 1 cause of sexual addiction. Early exposure to sex drive hypersexual behavior. So when we say early exposure to sex, what are we talking about? Like when a child is exposed to sex early, they don't have the sex education, they have not been educated, they don't know anything about sexuality or anything, but they are just exposed to the act of sex itself early. It can cause hypersexual behavior in a child. For example, when I'm not saying this to disrespect anyone, maybe you are born into sort of a family where all they could afford when they gave birth to you was a 1-bedroom apartment. So we have the sitting room and the bedroom is where everybody sleeps. And then you maybe you were about 5 years or 6 years old. Then you wake up in the middle of the night and you see your parents, see that still reproducing. You just see them doing something that you really don't understand. Now, no one has taught you about sex. No one has told you anything about sex. No sexual education, nothing. But you just see the act So you keep wondering. That's why you see some little children trying to have sexual intercourse with other little children. You see a 5 years old trying to sleep with a 4 years old, 7 years old trying to sleep with a 5 years old, and we keep wondering what is going on. That's any exposure to sex. That child has seen something, that the acts of sex, but the child doesn't have the knowledge about sex. He doesn't understand what it is, but he has been seeing people doing it, probably in the house, in the television, somehow. But that child has been exposed to the act of sex. So there's this curiosity in the child to try what he has been seeing. All right, so that can bring this hypersexual behavior in the child, and if they grow up with it like that, it will get to a point where they cannot control it anymore, because an addiction. Both male and female fall into this category. You see a guy who cannot stay a day without sleeping with a woman, and you also see a woman who cannot stay a day or even two without sleeping with a man. Some of them, if you check it backward, they were exposed to the acts of sex early, and they were not educated about what it is. And even growing up, we shied away from it in our classrooms. And okay, these days people talk about it, parents talk about it to their children, and we thank God for that. But long before now, our parents shied away from it. People like myself, we did not have the opportunity. You cannot even mention, you are not mad to mention anything about sex to your parents, or you even mention it where they are, even as a teenager. You understand that? Some of us, the day we saw our period, it was like a surprise to us. So we just came home, and at age 16, 18, we did not know what it was, and we were like, mommy, I saw blood stand in my pants. Okay, remove it. Go and take this, fix it like this. And nobody just really tell you what this thing is about. Nobody's telling you that, okay, you are growing, your body is changing, and this is how you should handle yourself. Nobody, they shied away from it. But so when you do that to your child, but they now gets exposed to the acts of sex, there's this hypersexual behavior, this curiosity that begins to build up in the inside of them, and they want to try it. And if they start trying it early, they will eventually get addicted to it, and the rest, they say, is history. So cause of sexual addiction is sexual abuse. We know of people who become addicted to sex because they were abused as a child. I know of someone who was living with her uncle when she was 7 years old. Her uncle was sleeping with her, and her cousin, that is the uncle's son, was also sleeping with her. From age 7 to age 16, no day passed by, if their days are passed by, we're not up to 10, that she did not sleep with anyone. Some days she has to deal with the uncle alone. Some days she will have to deal with the uncle and the uncle's son, which is her own cousin. She grew up like that, and then she gave her life to Christ after some time. And when she was, people practically have to talk her into going to the university at 26, because it got to a point in her life where she felt that she was useless. She wasn't good for anything except sex. You see that? So now she got addicted to sex and saw herself as useless if it's not sex, because of sexual abuse as a child. Another cause of sexual addiction is anxiety. If there is tension around your home, around your relationship, you eventually find rest somewhere. And sometimes, especially for ladies, when there is this tension in your home, when there is this anxiety in your life, there is this uncertainty, and you're just running around looking for where to just find rest and comfort. If you fall into the hands of a guy, they can quickly take advantage. And when they take advantage of you at this point, you can just get used to them. This is where you find rest, and these people are sleeping with you. So sometimes it happens to teenagers more. All right, when there is so much tension around their house, they run out, and when they go somewhere that is more mature than them, who knows how to calm them down, know how to do the things they like, they will just find themselves attached to this very man. So you see a young girl, maybe 13 years, 14 years, 18 years, just attached to a 20-something, 30-something years old man, and you are asking yourself, what is going on? That child is anxious inside, probably because of whatever is happening in the society or in their family. Most of the time is their immediate family, so they are finding this rest and finding this comfort with this older man. And because the man might not be is taking advantage, and they start sleeping with them. And when they start sleeping with them, sometimes they get addicted to sex, and sometimes not just sex, they get addicted to the person. We have seen situations where you tell a woman that you are being abused in this relationship, you are not being respected here, you should get out. They can't. They are not seeing it from where you are seeing it, because to them, the only person who has told them I love you in life is this man. The only person who has really showed them what they call the acts of love is actually this man. The only person who has made them comfortable, relax, and feel like, well, the world is a better place is this man. So there is this thing in their head. I stand them, if I step outside of this place, I will not find this rest anywhere else. If my mom could not love me enough, my father could not love me enough, if this person loved me, meaning this is the only person that can love me. So they can be easily manipulated. They get addicted to the person. They get addicted to sex with that person. Most of the time, they step out of that relationship. They might not really be loose people who will go around sleeping with other people. But if it's that particular person, they can sleep with that person over and over and over and over, anywhere, anytime, anyhow, because they feel like this is where I find rest. So another one is rejection. Rejection is closely, it's like almost like anxiety. It's the same thing. When you feel rejected at home, when you feel rejected by the people that are supposed to love you, when you feel rejected by the people that you look up to, people that are supposed to protect you, wherever you find rest, you stay there. So it's almost everything, because they say the highest need of you, of every human, is to be loved. So if they see where they are being loved, they're going to relax and stay there. And then the last one for sexual addiction is our peer group's influence. You see your age mates performing sexual activities excessively, it can influence you. You want to try. All right, so that's why you see some children who were trained maybe not to see these things, not to see sex as something they should do. When they go out there and they mingle with friends who really don't care, you see them, everything switch, because they see that it's my age mate, and she goes out, she comes back, she tells the fun of it and everything. I think I have a story to tell here. I remember when I was in the secondary school, JSS1, I was like 9.5 years old. So before I got to JSS1, I was already addicted to masturbation from home before I went to school, because of early exposure to the acts of sex. Now, I was already addicted to masturbation before I went to school. 9.5 years I was in JSS1. So when I went to school, I met this group of very little children. We're about the oldest among us was, I think, 12. We're from 12 to 9. All right, 12, 11, 10, 9, we're about 5 of us. So even the school authority that used to, when they're punishing everybody in the school, probably something happened in the dormitory. It was a boarding school. Something happened in the dormitory, something happened in the classroom. Many of us in that 5 group were already exposed to the acts of sex that early age. The school were seeing us as little children, but we knew what we knew. All right, so I remember we would go out. We can tell our school mothers that we're staying in almost the same dormitory, I think room 4 and room 5 closely. So we'll tell our school mothers that we want to go out and read. There was this classroom, empty room that was close to our dormitory. So we go over there and stay. That's where we go and discuss sex at that age. And then the oldest person, who was 12 years old, was actually the person who was not exposed to sex yet. But because of the way we're talking about this thing, because of the way we're talking about it, to an extent, she was curious. She wanted to try it. And it was in that room we started practicing lesbianism. That was where it started. Age 9, 10, 11, 12. Because since she wanted to try, we had to teach her how it's being done. Alright, that is number one. I remember also when I was in the higher institution, I had a friend that was a virgin at age maybe 20 or 21. All right, then the 2 of us were 3 friends again. Then the 2 of us were not really good girls in that area. She was well trained and everything. Every time she heard us talking about this thing, we talk about it so much that she started telling us that her boyfriend used to complain, because she had a relationship. So saying her boyfriend used to complain that he cannot cope and everything. We started telling her why she should do this thing. Okay, long story cut short, she got deflowered, and the relation that had lasted 2 years before that time could not last for, I don't think, up to 6 months again, and that was it. So what am I trying to say? Peer influence can actually push someone into sexual addiction. All right, so we have let me just list the rest without explaining. We have people use it to escape psychological distress and childhood trauma. I've explained it when I talked about anxiety. It's almost the same thing. Children use it to escape psychological distress and childhood trauma. They just want to run away from anything that is bringing those bad memories, relationships problem, unhealthy societal norms. I want to talk about this. There are people who are addicted to pornography because of unhealthy societal norms. There are women who stay with their fellow, even married ladies. They stay with their fellow married ladies, and the ladies are talking about how they they're having sex with their husbands, how they tie their hands, how they flog them, how they do, they all the crazy whatever they're doing, they're doing. And this lady is just having her normal sexual life, and she wasn't complaining, and her husband was not complaining. But when this person say this, she should begin to feel, okay, is there something I'm missing out? Maybe there is something I should try. And some of them will just go and start viewing porn because they feel that is where they will get the how it's being done. They are watching this thing, and sometimes this is what happens when they go and start viewing porn. They now get addicted to porn that they don't even feel like practicing the sexual act they went to learn with their husband or wives anymore. They now feel comfortable just viewing porn. That's what's about pornography addiction, because sex that you see people, you see that pornography you are seeing, the truth is that it's not real. No one has sex like that. I don't think even dogs have sex like that. Some of this porn you feel is too drastic for you to imagine. So it's something you cannot do. So sometimes when you look at this thing, it builds these unrealistic expectations in you, and then you feel like, okay, my partner should be like this. She should let me choke her and everything. Who wants to die having sex? For crying out loud. Sincerely, it's not funny. So these things are not real. So sometimes unhealthy societal norms, society will make this thing look like it's normal. If you don't know how to choke a lady, if you don't know how to tie their hand, flog them. I don't know what that sexual art is called. I think I will look for it, but I know there is a name for it. You tie somebody's hand with chain and everything. You can even send it to me. I would like to learn the name, or not the art. No, the whole choking thing and the whole thing. If you don't know how to do it, you are not woke. What have you been doing with your husband? Your sex life is boring. Your husband is not complaining. Alright, so this unhealthy societal norms, these things society have normalized and made people to go extra miles, and when they go, they get addicted to these unrealistic things. Most of the time you cannot find a real woman that will do what you are seeing in that porn video. Most of the time you can't find them. And then you just go around trying women upon women. Some people get married and they are not even sleeping with their wives because what they expected, what they have in their head that this woman will do is what they watch in that porn video, and it's not real. Okay, depression is one of it. Escape from mental and social pressure. Being alone at home is one of the things that cause me to get addicted sexually, like get addicted to masturbation, get addicted to porn, get addicted to sex itself. All right, now being alone is not equal to being lonely. There are some introverts that they enjoy just being alone. They don't even feel like it's punishment. But there are some people who love going out there, and when they are not out there, they just feel lonely. So I think at home you are alone. There are these lustful imaginations that will come. Sometimes people looking for who to sleep with them. All right, I've seen people that I was lonely. People have slept with people that they don't have any business with. I know someone when I was in high institution that slept with all the neighbors where she was living. In her compound, she slept with all the guys there. How did I know? She used to write it down. I don't even want to go into that. She used to write it down. I came across that diary one day, and till tomorrow, I'm still wondering what that was. She will write the name, the date, and how it started. Narrate the story. So I came across, she gave me a bag one day, I opened it, it was a big diary. I saw names of people I don't know, and also saw names of people I know, like people in the compound she was living. I used to go there, she was my friend. So now, when I confronted, okay, why did you do this? More especially in your compound, like these guys will not respect you, or even respect us anymore. I said, sometimes I used to be alone. You see that? So she was addicted to sex normally, and loneliness was part of the things that would make her go out and so. Because some of the stories she narrated in that diary, she's the one that would go to the guy's house, or even invite the guy over and then start the whole act of seduction and everything. All of these things are some of the causes of sexual addiction. So why am I telling you this? If you are struggling with sexual addiction, you might want to look at what causes it. What is my own trigger? Now, let's go to the causes of social media addiction. Social media addiction is also a part of behavioral addiction, don't forget. So, causes of social media addiction. One of the causes is low self-esteem. Yeah, they feel like they are not good enough. So, their real life is not just really what they want. Okay, so they project this image on social media of who they are not. So social media is their validation. Let me put it that way. They just feel social media is what validates them. The comments, the likes, It's what makes them feel happy. So they go extra miles just to make sure they are on social media. There are people who spend time on social media from morning till night. It's like social media is their real world. And what is supposed to be their real world is not like something they're spending just little time in. Because they struggle with this, they cannot relate with it. People around them, they have this low self-esteem. Another thing is fear of missing out. Don't get addicted to social media because they don't want to miss out. Everybody's out there, making it on TikTok. Everybody's there making TikTok videos. Everybody's on Facebook. Everybody's on Instagram. Even if I don't have any reason to be there, let me just be there too. All right, fear of missing out. Boredom is another thing that causes people to be addicted to social media. People who don't have goals or value get addicted to social media because, as I stated before, people who get addicted to anything, they don't start it off like I want to be addicted. They start it off voluntarily. So because you don't have anything you are working on, no goal, no values, you are not working on anything part-time, you're no discipline. Indiscipline is another thing. No discipline. Don't get addicted because of indiscipline. You are just there every day scrolling up and down, gossiping who is not gossiping you, viewing the life of somebody who does not really care about you. They don't even know that you exist. So you just get all on there. You are on one celebrity's page, you are on one blogger's page to the other. You are checking if gist of a post it. I mean, is it Insta blog or is it Linda Ikeji blog? So you are just everywhere, just checking who is not checking up on you. You are not paying attention to your real life and everything. So you that indiscipline, you keep doing it every day, that it now becomes a part of you unknowingly. These days, now you wake up in the morning till night, you are on social media. Indiscipline, social anxiety, inability to establish and maintain real life friendship. I think this one goes to introverts like me the most. You don't know how to make friends in real life. So you just decide to withdraw in the office, withdraw at home, withdraw in a social gathering where you're supposed to be making real life friends, and you are on your social media just feeling good. You prefer to hide behind your keypad and just type something or send something out there, just put a post and everything. It's better off for you than to talk to somebody for real. So you have that social anxiety. You don't know how to make real friends. So it's causing you it's causing you is drawing you deeper into social media, that you have even become addicted. So those are some of the causes of social media addiction, and there are many more. I told you that I will not bore you so much with the literature and background. I just want you to have an idea of what all these things are. That is the end of our module 1, lesson 1. Thank you. See you in lesson 2.